On today's episode of the One and O Sports Show, we go over a great World Series, NBA season tip-off, and a college basketball preview. Hot topics in the sports world. We'll play some trivia, pick some games, and so much more. It's a sports equinox. Don't go away. The One and O Sports Show starts next.
We're going to have an exciting show. We're going to talk about the NFL divisional round and what we expect from it. We talk about Texas's inconsistent start in Big 12 play for men's basketball. We'll finish with some talk about our women's basketball team. So we got a packed show today.
I got to go the other way. You know, Texas A&M, they got a lot of identity issues. Are they an agricultural school? Are they military? Are they blue collar? Are they academics? They're all over the place. So
now, I'm always a sucker for a one-handed catch. I have tiny hands. I need 3 of them just to catch a football. So this one-handed grab in the end zone, that's just super impressive in my eyes. That's going to be my play of the week.
Mayo pour on college game day. Look at this. Just the guy and the North Carolina, South Carolina game. He's just straight eating it, shirt off, rubbing it on his body.
Hey, listen, the Cinderella story ends here, Texans. I'm sorry, man. The chariots turns back into the pumpkin. It struck midnight. Whatever you want to say. I think it ends here.
And with that being said, today's show is brought to you by Cab Metro, Austin's transit system, where we connect you to work, school, play, and everywhere in between. Plan your ride to this weekend's game at cabmetro.org. Now we're going to go straight into it with who's hot, who's not, our segment here. And Jay, I'm going to start off with an NFL football player that actually studied philosophy in college and was salutatorian in high school. So he's pretty smart. This is Indianapolis Colts running back Jonathan Taylor, whom across 9 weeks is 100 yards away from encapsulating a 1,000-yard season for the 4th time in his career. Taylor has rushed for 12 TDs and on 157 carries, all being top 2 in the stat line. The Taylor's production has been instrumental to the Colts' season success as the team currently stands on top of the AFC West at 7-2. The last time the Colts were on top of that AFC South was back in 2014. It's safe to say that the Colts, thanks to Taylor, Colts fans are enjoying themselves while the Cowboys fans are spraying their deceased relatives' ashes across the stadium, literally and metaphorically.
Well, this guy is literally carrying the Colts on his back. He is a very, very solid running back, and from what I've seen from his highlights, he's pretty promising, and I think they're definitely gonna go far this season.
Absolutely. I mean, they showed it with that Sauce Gardner trade, trading 2 first-round picks for a guy that, in my opinion, might not even be a top 5 cornerback this year. But they're going all the way, go big, go home for the Indianapolis Colts. And I think it's a great year for them, you know, and especially a memorial kind of year for them with Jim Irsay, you know, their longtime owner passing away. So, you know, this is a great year for them.
I definitely agree. That guy was blowing up all over my Twitter feed, so it was a very interesting, needless to say, trade, but I'm backing it up. Well, let me go into my pick. The back-to-back winner chicken dinner, Mr. Shohei Ohtani. This guy is literally one of the most unbelievable pitchers we have seen in a while. He is forever changing the MLB program to this moment. The Dodgers just are looking different because of this pitcher. You can bring up some of the greatest. Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, Aaron Judge, but this guy's legit, and what they were doing back then, this guy is just rewriting history by himself. This man can hit 40 home runs and strike out 200 batters in one season. Like, when have you heard of that in like a pretty solid minute? It's absolutely ridiculous, Aiden.
Yeah, what he's doing both on the pitch, on the mound, and in the batting box is pretty much unprecedented. We've really never really seen that, and to do that all in the same time. You know, this guy will pitch 9 innings, right? Strike out 10 batters and then hit 3 home runs like he did earlier in the postseason. It's pretty amazing, pretty remarkable.
Yeah,
I just wish he played on the other side of the AL with the Houston Astros. I think, you know, it would have been better. You know, maybe the Detroit Tigers, I think Allie would like that. But, you know, Shohei's doing a great job.
Yeah.
And I think they're really building a dynasty just off him alone. I mean, you know, the batters, they could go, you know, no hits, and then this guy could be carrying them. That, to me, really speaks volume of him as a player and as an athlete.
And I think the Dodgers are going to keep him from the long run. I mean, this guy is literally building a dynasty with the Dodgers. He's just a global phenomenon, and I believe he's just the MVP contender to the max. And as a Yankees fan, I definitely back him up, even though I hate the Dodgers. I definitely think that guy is just creating a platform for all pitchers in the MLB to try and strive to be like this guy.
You said you're a Yankees fan?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go on now with the Who's Not segment here. Speaking of the long haul, this team is not going to be very much in the long haul and in the long run. I'm talking about the Miami Hurricanes.
Ooh.
Okay, this team started fiery hot. Now losing 2 out of the last 3 games of conference play. The U's offense has struggled to take care of the football, as within those 3 games, Carson Beck has thrown a total of 6 interceptions. This was a team, Jaden, 2 weeks ago, they were the number 2 in the country. They're now number 18, which is like, it's just crazy. I don't know, if did he date Haley Cavender? Was it Haley?
Oh,
I think that was a huge effect there. But this team is basically virtually out of the playoff contention, and with Pitt doing well as well as Virginia, I mean the ACC is really tight now with those 2 teams, and I think Miami's out of it.
Yeah, I mean Carson Beck can literally blame everybody on the team but himself, and I think that he is just absolutely selling a lot of his throws, and I just think that it's definitely a script flipped from what we saw at the beginning of the season, and I'm excited to see them finally get out because they're very egotistical and I'm tired of it. And
for sure. Yeah.
Anyway, so let's talk about such a hot team, and by a hot team I mean a hot mess. The Miami Dolphins. Oh my goodness, I'll call it as I see it. They're just the hugest flop in the NFL. Let's be so honest. I thought we were promised a high-powered offense with Tua, Tyreek, and Jaden Waddle, and I mean they were supposed to be legit. The Dolphins haven't had a fire under them since the 2023 season. And I mean, Mike McDaniel, that guy just looks absolutely defeated in every single post-game conference. Like, I don't even know what's up with him, but the defense can't stop a nosebleed at this point. The O-line just looks messy, and obviously, they're not playoff contenders, but the only thing that I think is pretty good out of this whole situation is Quinn Ewers is finally getting his spotlight. I didn't think he was a terrible QB to all you haters out there. I don't back that up, but I think that Quinn Ewers is finally getting a chance to show that this guy was supposed to be everything that he's not, I guess. Like, the Tua was just, he's not performing, and I think Mike McDaniel's finally realizing that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just think Mike McDaniel is just not a great head coach. I mean, he's a great offensive play caller, right? He'd be great in the Jets inventory. I think the New York Jets are probably going to hire him
for sure.
next year, and then his career is just going to tank after that. Just like any other head coach that goes through the Jets system, it's just really bad. But I think, Quinn Ewers, I mean, the ceiling is high. I think he's just a pro-ready quarterback, even out of college. Even though he was a late-round pick, I think Quinn Ewers has tremendous upside. They just need to get that supporting cast going with A-Chain, Waddle, and of course Tyreek Hill. But Mike McDaniel's not it.
Absolutely not.
Right? Yeah. Of course. So now we're going to go on to what's trending now. The Los Angeles Dodgers, Jaden, pulled out extra innings win in Game 7 of the World Series, winning their 2nd straight title in an era where expensive rosters are becoming a dominant force and, quite frankly, the norm of baseball. In your opinion, are big-name expensive rosters winning titles or small-market Moneyball franchises winning titles better for baseball? Let's go and start with you.
Well, I think it's better when smaller, low-budget teams use winning strategy and teamwork rather than just buying their whole roster. I mean, yes, it's nice to see the battle of the H&M store merchandises go head-to-head like the Yankees and the Dodgers last year. Like, oh my gosh, never seen more caps being sold from H&M and all those other stores. But it's also nice to keep the league changing. I mean, it's exciting rather than just a constant storytelling of just, Dodgers, Astros, Yankees, sometimes the Cubs. But like when you see a team like the Rays or even the Oakland A's, I think that it can upset a richer team, which proves smart coaching and analytics can indeed beat money. And the underdog story is just what makes sports fun. Let's be so honest. Like back in the NBA when the Warriors were like winning the freaking NBA championship every single year, I felt like I was tired of watching it, and same thing with the Chiefs. So it's nice to have some type of just flat line, changing storyline throughout every single sport league, but it's specifically baseball.
And you nailed it. I was about to grill you if you didn't say baseball, because
But,
baseball
yeah.
is like the only sport that doesn't
Right.
have a salary cap. So you really
Exactly.
see that big market, a huge difference between big market and small market organizations really take form. I think it's great for TV, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're definitely going to get good ratings when you have Shohei Ohtani against Aaron Judge every year after year after year.
Yeah.
But personally, in my opinion, I think having a bigger payroll is just a sleazier way, like you said, and a shortcut promoting a dynasty, like you mentioned with the Golden State Warriors, right? Which I think the Dodgers currently warrant. I mean, they're above. I think they're literally. I'm sorry, you're a Yankees fan, but if they didn't have Brian Cashman, they would, or if they had Brian Cashman, I think they would be, an afterthought in baseball. That's just my opinion. But I think, with the Astros, they were 17th in the middle of the pack. I just think small market organizations as a whole, when they win, it's just better.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on. With that being said, Tuesday night, the College Football Playoff Committee released their first rankings of the year. In your opinion, what teams in the top 12 will end up, as seen on the screen, will miss the playoffs, and who's your dark horse, Jaden, to sneak their way in December? Let's start with you.
So honestly, I've got the Sooners to miss the college football playoffs. I mean, their defense is just inconsistent. Their offense, it looks great against unranked teams, but they fold. Sure, they pulled a win against Tennessee, but it wasn't a pretty one. And you can't tell me you're a playoff contender when you can't even close out a game and you're giving up big plays and hard points of the game. So sorry, Sooner Nation, but this is not the Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murray OU that the game has just seen before. However, I think that, the Red Raiders are actually pretty promising. For this season, I think that they could definitely make it far. The only thing that I'll say is that Tech needs to fix that defense in a small way. 1 week they look like a top 5 program, and then the next week they're forgetting how to tackle. I mean, you can't just score, you've got to stop somebody. You've got to finish the game, and other than those flaws, I think that they could definitely finish out the season. They don't have too many hard opponents left, but Baron Morton is just that guy, so I think he could definitely pull this win out against BYU tomorrow, and then eventually the last team that they play, and I just think they could definitely win.
I love how you mentioned a Big 12 team here,
Right.
because I really think there's only one Big 12 team making the playoffs, and that's the Texas Tech Raiders. I'm going to move on. I'm going to pivot to another Big 12 team in a state where it's home to Beehives and Karl Malone, and that's the BYU Cougars right now. I think they're extremely overrated. As I mentioned in Crossfire, they don't have a huge resume. I mean, they flop, like you said, with Oklahoma. This team flops, if not just, panics. I mean, they're literally on life support against Clickerado, right? Clickerado, okay, a 2-6 team, okay. They almost lost to by 3, and then they almost lost in overtime to Arizona. In my opinion, they're going to get their butts beat. Okay, let's keep it PG. They're going to get their butts beat against Texas Tech and David Bailey's red-hot Texas Tech defense. But yeah, I mean, with the SEC competition really taking form, I think 5 teams we could see, which is unprecedented numbers, really in the college football playoffs.
Exactly.
I think BYU's just out of it, and in a dark horse, like you mentioned, I'm going to go with the Texas Tech Red Raiders as well.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
other than that, we're going to now move on to, I don't think any BYU player is going to make it, to the NFL. The NFL trade deadline is passed, and some major blockbuster trade shook the league. What team won and lost the trade deadline? I just see Tyler Moss. I'm sorry, Tyler Moss. You're probably fuming right now. But let's move on, Jaden. What do you have? Who's your winner?
No,
and
you know
loser?
what? You go first because I want you to. I
like that.
I wanna
Okay.
rebut what you're
As I
saying.
mentioned in Crossfire, the obvious winner is the Philadelphia Eagles. Enforcing tactical decisions is always a sign of a great front office. The Birds illustrated through their acquisition of outside linebacker Jalen Phillips from the Miami Dolphins after Nolan Smith went on IR. Then you said Zadarius Smith, he just pulled out the deuces, and after week 5 he left as well. They literally were this was a team that was so desperate to find a pass rusher that they were going to hire Brandon Graham from the couch, who's taking care of his 12 kids, right? But the Eagles, again, Jalen Phillips brings great presence as a pass rusher. This is a team that has great interior defensive linemen with Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, who in my opinion are the best players in that defensive interior.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles did really well, and I'm gonna go with the Dallas Cowboys. Sorry, I know you're against it. I'm a huge Cowboys fan as well, but I mean this team is virtually out of it. I mean they're still, what's crazy thing is they're second in the NFC East, but if you look at how they play like the Cleveland Browns, if not like a minor league team to the Cleveland Browns. I don't think with the Quinn Williams acquisition from the Jets is going to change anything. I think it actually makes it worse, given that he has 2 years left on his contract. Jerry Jones is probably not going to re-sign him. Okay, so he's going to opt out of the max, and I mean they got rid of a first-round pick in a draft class next year that's going to be with Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, some of the great players, Arch Manning, even maybe. You're saying you're saying maybe not, but I think the Cowboys again just lost it.
So yeah, I'm gonna actually go against what you said. I love your take on the winner, but I definitely think that the winner is Dallas. Let's be honest. I feel like this is a win-win for the Dallas and the Jets. Yes, I think that the Cowboys needed Williams because of the strength he brings to the defense, especially to stop the run and pressure elite quarterbacks in the game. Yes, they gave up a draft capital, but let's remember Mazi Smith. He was kind of a fluke. I'm gonna be so honest.
Yeah, I know.
I remember that. But yeah, so I don't think this was a loss, but I think in fact it was a win for us. I mean, we lost Michael Parsons, and honestly, his presence just frees up more opportunities to make plays. Yeah, so I don't think it was that much of a loss, but then again, people can take it as they want. I definitely understand where you're coming from with that. But if Williams performed like he did in New York, this trade will look like probably a win by the end of the season, and if Jerry doesn't resign him, I mean, that's just a play out of Jerry's playbook, let's be so honest. The Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bills were even adding debt to make moves or to fix the weak spots. So yeah, I think that the team that lost this was actually the Bengals. They just didn't really make a move with this whole trade, and I think that
absolutely.
they just weren't doing too good.
Yeah.
So yeah, just even the Jamar Chase situation, it's not getting easier with him having to fill every play in, and I just think that the Bengals had a really big chance to make a splash move by grabbing a reliable O-line man and even a top-tier corner, but they just didn't do anything.
Trey Hendrickson, he's out of his contract, so I definitely think, they could have traded Trey Hendrickson. I'm sure there's a lot of teams that would love to pick him up.
I agree.
No, definitely. But as we come back, coming up, we got our Versus segment with a very special guest. We'll talk about her later coming up. So stay right here. Don't go away, and we'll be right back.
right, welcome back to the 1 and O Sports Show. Today we are here with our very special guest, Miss Allie.
Hi guys.
Woo, how are you feeling today,
I'm
Allie?
feeling really good. I'm excited. I've got this beautiful trophy
Yes.
to give out to one of you. We'll say, hey, have a little faith. Have a little faith. We'll see what happens.
You know what? Yeah, I'm fully confident that we can actually we'll have some good clips, even though there was a fluke on one. But yeah, so we're gonna get into our verses. So these are the different clips that we picked from the different weeks from all the sports, and we're gonna see which ones are the best out of all of the clips we picked.
Perfect.
So for the first one, Aiden, you want to introduce?
Yeah. So, all right, Allie. This is a Drake London one-handed catch. I don't know if you like one-handed catch. I know
Love a one-handed
Amon-Ra
catch.
St. Brown makes a lot of one-handed catches.
So does Isaac
This
DeSlay,
one's
yeah.
against the Patriots here. This is an 8-yard. Take a look. Little one-handed snag. He makes 2 feet inbounds. You know, in NFL, that's the NFL rule.
Yeah.
And he catches it, has possession, and yeah, I mean the Falcons would lose in decisive fashion like they always do, right? But I mean, look at that.
Yeah,
that's just,
getting those 2 feet down is really impressive.
Yeah.
I love a little toe tap.
Oh, I
love a
know.
little... All right,
Man,
good
the
stuff.
Patriots are really back this year. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But okay, so for my pick, I got Colston Loveland's 58-yard touchdown. It was a debut for this guy. I mean, just look at how beautiful this catch is. He snaps the ball right about here and catches it right
Wow.
with 4 defenders on him. He was just I don't even know, a track star at that point. He looked absolutely beautiful. I just love this, and this helped close out the game. Now, hear me out. What's your team? Your NFL team?
I'm a Lions fan.
Dang it. Okay, forget it.
But I am from Chicago. I'm from Chicago. Don't get me wrong, the Bears are my second favorite NFC North team.
I was guessing because I knew you were from Chicago, so I was like, maybe this would.
So you tried to bribe me as well.
Well, Aiden actually tried to bribe you with that one-handed catch. So
That's true.
Well,
He
she
did.
should be
And let's
losing the
balance-
battle.
let's
I mean,
balance
why are
out
we,
the difference.
Why are we boasting about the Bears?
All right,
yards, 58 yards
all
over
right,
8.
guys. Both beautiful touchdowns. The coverage on Loveland was insane. That was a very impressive catch and run. But oof, those 2 feet in bounds.
Yeah.
Oof.
That was pretty good. And
It's
one-handed,
just,
that
it's
was a
delicious.
snag.
One-handed,
Yeah.
that snag, that's delicious. I'm so sorry, Jaden. Aiden gets the first point.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm gonna get your names mixed up at one point, by the way. I'm so just sorry about that.
It's okay.
It's like an alliterative thing.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to go on to best NBA play. I'm going to start off here, the Jaylen Brown rim rocker to Josh Minott here against the Washington Wizards. Take a look, little, right there. Floats one up. I mean, that's pretty good. A little one-handed spin there, and he did it without the marker. There was no evidence. He didn't do it again. No third time's a charm here. Jaylen Brown got it done with a rim rocker to Josh Minott. Brown's stat line, he went 11 of 21 with 35 points in 26 minutes.
Well,
okay?
that's irrelevant to this
That-
particular
yeah.
conversation, but that is a beautiful highlight. Let me see yours, Jaden.
Well, Nikola Jokic compiling a triple assist. This guy had a beautiful game this game, and I just think that, I mean, there was just 2 different clips, so that's why I had to add it in.
Gotcha.
Aiden might win this one, but and then he goes on in the next clip. Hold on, give it a second. I'm so sorry. There he goes, up. Right there. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Second assist. And this guy just got triple digits. I think that's just pretty impressive for me. He had a great game this week, and I just had to go with him, but
All right, yeah. I mean, Jokic is unreal.
Right.
That was more of a series of highlights.
Yeah,
And
that's
we know Jokic is going to pop off. It's not like Kendrick Perkins,
well,
hitting like
he
50
had a
points.
whole 5-minute highlight just
I don't
from
even
that
need
game.
to be here.
So.
These guys are doing all the arguing for me.
Oh my
This is great. I am always impressed by Jokic. He's an unreal player.
Right.
I'm gonna give Aiden this point again. That was a really sick. That pass was unbelievable. I'm afraid it's 2-1 right now, or 2-0 right
It's
now.
okay.
I'm so sorry.
You know what? Because I still got 3 tries.
You still got 3 tries.
Yeah, there
it's
you
not
go.
over till it's over. We could have a reverse sweep incoming. You never know.
I think so.
Let's see what's next.
I highly doubt that, but we're going to go on the college football now. Okay, my play of the week comes from Kansas State, Avery Johnson's 10-yard touchdown pass to tight end Garrett Oakley. They will end up losing here. And then look at that. Two-handed grab. There was a flag on the field. They said it was a pass interference call against Texas Tech. That would have been upheld, and Kansas State would have got the touchdown here. I mean, just take a look.
That's
We're going to go right
gorgeous.
back, zoom in here. A little 4K
Oh, does
view.
he, like, fumble the snap?
He fumbles the snap. Yeah,
Wow.
that's right. Thank you for helping me out. Avery Johnson right here again. Touchdown. you
Wow,
know?
that's an impressive catch.
Right, yeah.
That was good defending from Texas Tech there. I love tight ends. I don't love the dab Selly. That made me a little
Yeah, that's
uncomfortable. But the catch
That was
itself,
cringe, yeah.
the recovery from the quarterback and the catch itself are very beautiful.
Yeah,
So that's
awesome,
a great pick, Aiden.
awesome.
Let's see yours.
You know what? I've got an even better one. Ryan Wingo's 10, right in the first 10 seconds of the game, his 75-yard touchdown. This not only gave me chills in the stadium, Allie, hear
I
me
was
out.
screaming. No, girl,
but
I was screaming.
It set the whole tone for the game. I truly believe that this fired the intensity within Texas, and that it just changed the hope for all the offensive struggles that we've seen this season, and it just completely switched it around. So,
I agree.
So, I don't know. Take it as you please,
That's a
but I
great
think
pick.
Texas was in a really big slump, and that really helped them.
Definitely change. I know where you're going to go, Allie, and it definitely changes the hope of me winning this. But go on with your opinion.
I mean, okay. It was a really good highlight. It was a really good
Stop chatting.
highlight.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think I'm a little biased, maybe, because I was sitting in that stadium. It was the morning after Halloween. My head was killing me.
Yes. Oh my God.
But I was screaming at the top of my lungs. I will not forget that feeling anytime soon. Jaden gets the point.
Yes, any type
Absolutely.
of hangover that you had in that stadium was
Gone.
by that point.
Gone.
By that point, those 10 seconds changed it. All the sunglasses came off. I saw
Oh
it.
yeah.
I saw
no,
it.
my sunglasses stayed on the whole game.
I regret writing the script. Like, I was rolling, and then I took a break right after that, like, you know, that Jalen Brown play, and I just like Jane had. I come back an hour later. She has the Ryan Wing. I'm like, oh my God.
I don't know if you guys have seen on Twitter. They're like, it was a screen pass. It's not impressive. Like, it was still a touchdown, girl. It was the first play of the game. Like, relax. All right.
Diego Pavia overrated.
Overrated. All right, let's move on. What do we got
Alright,
next?
let's go to the biggest blooper of the season.
So we're gonna start with mine. Well, the biggest blooper is me. Okay, you know, you get a live, stream of me right now in 4K. I totally forgot to. Nice. Now we're getting highlighted. No, thank you, Tyler. I hope you're happy right now. I hope you're loving it right now. Yeah, no, the biggest blooper is me, and I'm gonna stop talking. Let Jaden just go on, please.
You know what? Because that's a perfect transition into I'm still going with Texas.
Nice.
This was the worst.
Oh my God.
The worst. I will be forever talking about this. I don't care
Insane.
if we were still up, if we still
Insane.
won the game. That was terrible. Vandy's apparent 2-point conversion. And to the people on Twitter who say that the laces broke the goal line.
Insane.
The ball was shorter than Diego Pavia himself. Let's be so serious. That was terrible. I
was
saw
bad.
that. I was right in front of that. I was maybe far back, but I was still in those
on the
stands.
goal line.
Everybody saw it.
Yeah.
Those refs had a parlay with that.
No, absolutely. Texas Vandy was one of the worst ref games I've seen in a little while. There were probably 3 or 4 different plays from that game that you could have used for this
absolutely.
segment.
Yeah.
That is obviously the worst. It is the most egregious, one of the most egregious calls I've seen in my entire life. Honestly, like, really difficult to watch.
Right.
Aiden, love your beautiful face. Jaden's gonna get the point
Okay,
here. We're all
that's-
tied up at 2. And my blood was just boiling in the
Oh
stands.
my gosh, absolutely.
God. If you thought I was screaming for that 75-yard touchdown, I was screaming a lot louder for that.
Yeah, got me fired up.
But we're tied at 2, which means next point wins.
Yeah.
So, Godspeed both of you. Let's start with Aiden.
Allie, do you like tennis? Are you
Sure.
Okay.
I like tennis.
We're gonna go with tennis. We're
Tennis is
gonna change
good.
it up now. Novak Djokovic first set against Nuno Borges. This is a compilation. I saw you, Jaden, with the nuggets.
Negative 2 points.
I'm gonna do my own.
Negative
here.
2 points.
Tyler,
what
do
we
we
got
have
here.
the video?
No, didn't get
Tyler,
it
do
in.
we have the video? Okay, we do have the video.
Oh, it's not looking good for you,
Anyway,
Aiden. It's not looking good for you.
Anyway, Novak. Here, I'll just replay it in my head.
give us the play-by-play.
Novak Djokovic, made a couple of tweeners that were over the net, and he won it. But let's Jaden, let's go on to you.
Guys,
And he
I
won
still
it.
don't understand. Oh my gosh. Anyway.
It's not looking good
Hold
for
on,
you,
hold on,
man.
hold on, hold on. Jaden, go with you. Go with you.
Okay, so for mine, I just, as a former volleyball player, I thought this was absolutely beautiful. The Penn
volleyball.
State volleyball. Watch this.
Wow.
Check this out. So she goes.
Oh, I love the pink.
Yes, it was pink out, I think.
Cute.
She goes up for the hit, swing, deep, back
Wow.
to deep corner. And
That's beautiful.
let me just say this, as a volleyball player myself, I understand how hard those back-to-back deep swings are. So for her to get back up on the net and still hit to that, I mean, that's just
Wow.
that's just amazing.
That's
just
incredible,
beautiful.
like the control that you have to have over your own body.
Absolutely.
Like, it's
And
very
it's from right
impressive.
side, too. It's
from the right side,
too.
yeah, absolutely.
So yeah,
it's not looking good for you, Aiden.
Take it as
I'm
it
on
is.
my email chain right
not
now
looking
to
good
see.
for
Did he get it? Did our producer is saying no?
Don't blame our producer.
I'm just going to forfeit, which is what the New York Jets should be doing right now. I'm going to forfeit my career right now as even trying to do any more highlight plays. Jaden.
Congratulations, Jaden.
yes. Yeah, that well deserved.
You both did a great job. Jaden just did a better job.
Yeah,
I want to say I was up at 1 a.m. sending these to Tyler, so thank you.
She also, I mean, she tugged at the heartstrings with the Texas plays.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, maybe if you guys had, you tried by talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown, but he was nowhere to be seen on the TV screen,
Yeah,
so I'm afraid it didn't work on me.
Yeah.
But I'm a very objective judge. I did my job here today.
definitely did, yeah.
Jaden, you did a great job. Aiden, you did a job.
Okay.
You did a job.
Participation trophy. Where's my
Participation trophy for Aiden.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. I had a lot of fun. You did a great job.
Yeah, awesome. And as we come back, thank you, Allie, again. We're going to go over some Texas plays, some Texas opinions, what we have on. We'll also bring in another guest and a producer of ours. So stick tuned on the 1-0 Sports Show. Thank you again, Allie.
Thank you.
Guys.
to the 1-0 Sports Show. We are going to be talking about in this segment the Texas Athletics that debuted this week and just the football game after beating Vandy. So on Saturday, the Texas Longhorns pulled out a top 10 win, beating Vanderbilt 34-31. In what ended up being a pretty intense game towards the end. Do you think this momentum will carry Texas to a playoff appearance, or will Georgia and or A&M end up spoiling the Horns' party? Aiden, you want to start?
Awesome, and I'm going to first start. I think this question was changed. So I'm going to first start with the initial response that I gave here. Absolutely, UT Vanderbilt, that game had it all. I mean, I exhibited literally every emotion. You know, like that doctor's office where they give you all those emojis, you know?
Yeah.
They tell you to smile,
1 to 10.
anger. Yeah, that's basically me. You know, heading into half, you know, it was a pretty decisive victory. You know, both first and second quarter. Credit to Clark Lee's crew here, staying in it. I mean, they had 21 points in the fourth quarter to keep the game on, you know, and then UT kind of got a little lucky there at the end with the little bounce. I don't know how that was, like, physically possible, you know. I mean, I bet our physics teachers would literally be in shambles because they bounced off 3 defenders and went out of balance. But, you know, I think UT, this definitely builds momentum here. Vanderbilt was ranked 9. I don't know if you saw against that Alabama game, they lost pretty handily, but all those 4 quarters were really great football here. I think UT, Georgia, we've seen Georgia hasn't been really good this past year compared to other years, you know, which, I mean, that's not really saying much because Georgia's really good. But I think UT, Arch Manning, I want him to keep banging his head because I feel like every time he's concussed, he just plays better. But absolutely, I think UT can win it. They do have to win out, but I think, you know, it's not astronomically impossible.
No, and I would have to agree with Aiden here. I seriously think the Horns could pull off an upset against Georgia and A&M, but let's be real, both have defensive fronts that can collapse, and the pocket can force mistakes. Texas has the potential, but to make the playoffs, they will need defense to step up and play a complete 60-minute game. The margin for error is just razor thin at this point.
It's nothing.
Yeah,
it's a line.
It's a line. Like, they seriously, I mean, I would have to agree with you. Georgia's not doing too hot this season. I think the refs are definitely pulling for them a lot in all the games, but other than that, and then A&M, I just think they're little bro. They get upset about us.
I do think Georgia is probably going to be the game of the year for the UT Longhorns.
Sure,
Because it is a rivalry game, you know. And I think UT, they're playing on the road in Sanford Stadium. I went to Georgia last year, and it's basically Iraq there. It's crazy. Georgia is at the top of their game when they come in. I think they're the best team. Like, I'll keep saying it until it's over, you know, until Georgia as a school is literally dundo. Georgia is the best at home in the entire nation. So it's going to be a huge test. There's no margin for error.
No.
And, you know, they literally have to play phenomenal. We're going to move on, you know, because I could hear Santi metaphorically screaming in my ear to keep it going. Texas women's basketball opened the season with a 123 point to 51 win victory against the Incarnate Ward Cardinals, I believe. And while the matchup may not have been totally fair, what can you take away, Jaden, from this game and what performances surprised you?
Well, as a season opener, this was just a beautiful game. One of my favorite women's teams is back, and they look so solid. Freshman Aaliyah Crump had made an absolute debut with 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals. She truly earned her spot on one of the best teams in the nation. And of course, we can't forget about our star Jordan Lee with a career best of 21 points, and don't forget about transfer Brea Cunningham, and of course our girl, Rory Harmon. And, so let me just say something. Their Final Four appearance from last year is definitely going to trickle into this season with so much offensive dominance and the just game control this team has. I think against stronger teams, this team could truly overcome the intensity and chemistry that a lot of other SEC and just playoff teams carry, but I think they can definitely overcome.
Yeah, I know. I love how you mentioned the whole catalog. You were going band for band, pound for pound when it comes to players. I wish you mentioned Madison Booker, but that's where I come in.
I left that for you.
Awesome. Thank you, because I literally had no input if you didn't say Madison Booker. Taylor Jones left, you know, she was a 5th-year senior. She's done. I think Madison Booker now has a even more impactful role going on. And she looked tremendous on the floor, with a double-double in that game. I mean, I think Texas, the favor's in for them, and I really think this will be the first time, a change in history where we're going to see women's game having more fans than men's basketball games. If you look at Duke game, which we'll go into in a little bit, it didn't look really good. But, Madison Booker and this UT Texas women's team looks really good. And I think, the future is their oyster, and I think they look really good.
And let's not forget we lost Shea Holly, too. So she was a very big
absolutely.
contender for our team. So I just think they're definitely looking solid, and they definitely picked up right where they left.
Absolutely.
So Texas men's basketball, which we just talked about, fell to the number 6 ranked Duke Blue Devils in their first game of the season, 75-60. Although Duke was favored at the half, Texas led to 33-32. What can you take away from this game, and what's something to look forward to? Aiden, you want to?
Yeah, I'll definitely start because, I watched this game. I don't like the women's game. But ball security and transition offense should be the clear indicator and point of emphasis that Sean Miller and this UT basketball team should make in moving forward. Texas struggled in the half court, allotting 16 total turnovers. They actually tied 16 last year, which was tied for 199th in the country, meaning there was teams from North Dakota that literally were like, had 10 players on the team beating UT's team. Another thing was creating enough fast break opportunities. I don't think there was much. They only eclipsed 6 points compared to Duke's 11. I mean, they definitely showed great defense. I mean, Cam Boozer looked terrible. I think he went 1 for 11 in the first half, only 1 field goal, which is yikes, but he did have a double-double. Jordan Pope has to be the orchestrator if they want to get things going now. I think their defense was great, like I said. They out-rebounded Duke, but I think the second chance points that Tyler mentioned over on Crossfire that, completely depleted my chance of winning that, show, really illustrate what UT needs to do. Let's move on to you. What do you think?
I mean, I can say one thing confidently. Texas actually looked good. They didn't look terrible, which is like... kind of a hot take, but I think they didn't look bad. Dalen Swain is a stud, and I believe he will carry us this season, along with Matas Vokietitis. I can't say his name. He knows this. I interviewed him the other day.
The Latvian legend.
Yeah.
We're just going to go with the Latvian legend.
Yeah. Nick Cody and Tremont Mark and Jordan Pope are just... Also, I think they're pretty solid. I think they have a good roster. They just really need to clean up, like you mentioned, turnover rates. Yeah. I think that they just also need to have deep shot conversions. They just really are lacking those things, and I think that's what's making offense a little bit whack.
Right.
And also, they gave Duke 16 opportunities to score from those turnovers,
Absolutely.
and I think that with our new center, he could definitely improve and clean up all of his presence because he's a big guy. He's really big. Like I said, Duke is a tough team. Let's put it out there. So it wasn't terrible, but definitely a learning experience, and it's also a new team. So new chemistry, new ways to play with each other, how to pick each other up on the court. I just think it was overall not a terrible game, but it's definitely a lot of room for improvement, and they better be in the practice facilities today.
Yeah, I love how you mentioned Duke. That's definitely a great preparation starter for what UT needs to look at in their whole outlook through the year. I definitely think they need to prioritize their 3 points. They lacked that. Jordan Pope. Jordan Pope, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Jordan Pope, needs to get more minutes here. I think he's their only 3-point shooter here, and it can't be the Trey Johnson show like we saw last year. They have to be more versatile, and they have to really just spread the floor, which I think what Jordan Pope and, like you mentioned, Tremont Marks are going to do. As we come back, we're just going to forget what I said the last 5 seconds there. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to go 10 for 10. So. Jaden, get your thinking caps ready.
I'm ready.
And stay tuned on the 1 and 0 and forget what I said. Thank you.
Welcome back to the 1-0 Sports Show. We are back here today to do one of our almost final segments, which is called 10 and 10, where it's basically where we talk for 10 minutes about just topics that we think are pretty interesting and that will actually cause some controversy between maybe one of us, or we might agree on most of them. So for the first one, we're going to talk about the Dodger Dynasty after they won their World Series. This is a back-to-back team, and definitely, Aiden, I believe that they could be a dynasty. They could go for a three-peat potentially, but I don't know. The Blue Jays had them pretty much within a couple of games, and that may be just my opinion, but I think for a team as solid as the Dodgers, that was pretty interesting, especially with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I think he was just a solid player for the Blue Jays as well, and I think that they're going to extend his contract eventually, and I think that other teams are definitely going to catch on. I mean, the Mariners were such a good team this year. I think that the Tigers, have you heard of the Tigers in a while?
Oh, I have. I actually brought it up on College Crossfire, and I didn't get points for that, but yes, I have.
So yeah, it's just an interesting, like I said, like we mentioned, the playbook is just definitely, or the script is going to change within the next couple of years, and I think that it could be a three-peat, but I think that there should be some other teams that may come up and actually win the World Series eventually.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't have a salary cap, and I blame Rob Manfred for this, then, I mean, of course, I think the Dodgers are... They're literally... I'm going to have grandchildren, right? And they're still going to be winning World Series pennants, and I absolutely agree with you. I think, Detroit can step in. Toronto, of course, had a Cinderella story, but unlike the movies, there's only one movie, and I think there's only one season for the Toronto Blue Jays. But we're going to go on with the NBA Fakers. What team that has had a good record will backslide? And I think this is going to be the San Antonio Spurs. I don't think they're ready yet, and this might be my Houston bias right now, but I think San Antonio, they don't have it in them, and I think they're just too young of a team. I think they're going to crumble, especially come playoff time. And John Morant, if you're out there, please come to San Antonio. Make my stupid take worthwhile. But I think San Antonio is they're going to crumble under pressure, especially after the All-Star break, like what the Rockets did last year.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So, I mean, honestly, I think that San Antonio could be a playoff contender, but like you said, they're a very young team. I think that going against very more seniority teams like the Lakers, the Nuggets, just like the bigger teams that I think are a little bit more solid, and even last night's game against, who was it against? They played I forgot, but they lost. Oh, it was the Lakers. I'm sorry. They lost against the Lakers. I mean, Luka Doncic is just a dog, and I think that we definitely can see some growth in San Antonio from a long time ago when they were.
Back when
champs.
Tim Duncan and Tony Parker, that era.
I think that especially because Wemby is one of their most solid players right now.
Right.
And when he got hurt last night, I think that was just like a no-go, and that's what
that was their heart.
Yeah, that was what made them lose. Or I'm sorry, he didn't get hurt; he fouled out.
Okay.
And that's what made them lose the game. So yeah, I just think it's gonna take a little more time, but I think next year they definitely could be a contender. So baseball in 2027. That was one of the ones that we definitely saw within the Dodgers. But Aiden, I definitely think that the Dodgers payroll is something that we're going to be talking about in 2027. When one team spends that much while others can't even come close, it just highlights how unbalanced baseball's financial system is.
Absolutely.
Owners will likely be pushing for tighter spending or even a harder salary cap like you mentioned. But honestly, the Dodgers are just playing within the rules. They draft well, they develop talent, and they spend to win. By their rosters, which is what fans want. The real question is whether small market teams will start to invest more, or if the MLB needs to step in and even out that playing field of just different spendings.
I like the salary cap idea because I'm a firm believer that every sport needs a salary cap. I do want to push back. I don't think the Dodgers do great in developing talent, as the Yordan Alvarez trade, where they traded Yordan Alvarez away for Josh Fields, and Josh Fields was cut after
that's
that.
valid, yeah.
But I mean, the Dodgers. One thing that the Dodgers are better than the Yankees are, they're just a better front office, and I mean, Dave Roberts is one of the best managers of all time, and I definitely agree with you that if this spending keeps accumulating, the Dodgers keep augmenting with their pay, that it's only going to create more of a gap between small market franchises having a shot or big market, and it's, the latter's leading more towards big market teams.
Yeah.
Awesome. So now we're going to go on to NBA dark horses who will sneak up into the playoffs. And I love you, Tyler, for this, because I'm going to go back to the song I'm sure Santi remembers I sang. I didn't sing it, but I kind of more did an a cappella rendition of it. And it's This Magic Moment by the Drifters. I really think this is Orlando's magic moment. I think what they did, getting in Desmond Bane, this is one of the worst three-point shooting teams last year. Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner were really inconsistent last year, as mentioned. I think that's the reason why they were a one series out team. I think this team will go even further, and they're going to make it. I mean, they've kept really, getting better and better. I mean, if they win this season, will be their third winning season under the head coach's tenure. I think this is Orlando's time to shine, and as we've seen with Oklahoma City, I mean, we've seen out of the past 5 years, we've seen 5 different teams win the NBA Finals. I think this just adds to why Orlando has a chance.
I agree. I think their momentum has definitely carried on over the years, and I think that I would have to agree with you on that one. I think that Orlando is just a very solid team, even though they're
exciting.
not looking, they're not looking too they're looking a little rough, but it's gonna get better. I think progressively it's gonna be definitely a flip, and I think that they could not make the championship, but they could definitely make it up to like the fourth spot.
And now with the NBA play-ons, like that whole edition, which we didn't have 10 years ago. I mean, Orlando was a losing team coming into the playoffs, and they won against that play-in, that magical run. Sorry, that was no pun intended. But the Magic, I do think that the world's their oyster. Go ahead, head it down with college football's most overrated team.
So for me, I had a pretty, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I definitely think the Longhorns are gonna be one of the 5.
Okay.
I think that they could.
Yeah.
I think that that game against Vandy is what they needed. I think that we should stop basing it off of stats at some point and actually just look at the intensity of different teams. I think that they are gonna carry on. I think that it could be obviously Indiana, Ohio State. I want to say I mentioned. I think obviously if we are up there, I'm gonna say.
Right.
Maybe not Georgia, but I think that them definitely, and then Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is a good contender.
Yeah, I'm gonna highlight that. I'm gonna kind of go into my side.
Yeah.
I think Virginia is probably the most overrated team because I mean they beat Florida State, and now we've really seen what Florida State's doing. Sorry, under Tommy Castellanos. At least you're going to Florida State. It's a great school, great party school. But Virginia, I don't think they have it in them. I think they're going to get crushed. I think as I saw, I think they were playing like Ohio State or Oregon, some of the topper tier teams. I think Indiana even possibility. So I think Virginia for sure. Now we're going to go on to Texas volleyball slide, losing last 2 games, worried or not. No, I'm not worried because I interviewed Jerry Elliott, and he had a nice round head, and he looked super confident in that frame of his, and he's a great head coach. And I think Texas volleyball, we shouldn't be worried. They see what they can do, and yeah.
Well, I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of that. I think that they definitely did not look. They looked different this last weekend, and I think that they lost a little momentum. I think that when you become a team that just kind of wins and wins and wins and wins, it just it definitely piles up, and the teams who want to beat you come with more intensity. And let's be honest, Kentucky came with a lot of intensity. A&M, I hate A&M, but they look like a absolute dominant team, like they were the number 1 contenders. But do I think that they are definitely gonna, I'm not worried that they're gonna lose. I think that they're gonna win the rest of the season, and I think that as far as playoffs, they just need to have that same intensity that they had at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. I'm just going to say 10 seconds on the Manning portion. Keep banging your head. Keep getting into trouble with the cops. But don't go into jail. Manning looks great at concussed, and I think they're really doing well. But we're going to go on AFC 2000 return just because we're losing time here, Jaden. Who do you have?
So I honestly just think that the Patriots are looking amazing this year. I definitely put them as one of my teams. The Steelers, the Colts, the Broncos, the teams that wants to find the era of college football, NFL, are all leading their divisions right now, and it's wild to see the old powers back on the top rebuilding after years of rebuilding. And I just know that Robert Kraft is just jumping.
He's the
right
guy.
now.
He's the guy.
Yeah, he's the guy, and I think that these
without the massages, but yes,
these franchises are amazing, and I think this era is coming back.
That will end it here, folks, on the 10 and 10 segment. We're gonna go in. We're gonna bring in another guest, so it's band for band with the guest portion. We're gonna go into the pick'em, so stay tuned on the 1-0 Sports Show.
and welcome back to the 1-0 Sports Show. Today we're here for our last segment with a very special guest, Aiden.
Yeah, so right now we have Aradia. Aradia, this is your first, she'll be making her first TSTV debut, so give it up here. Awesome. Aradia, introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, Aiden and Jaden. I'm so excited to be here. So, hey, y'all, I'm Aradia, and yeah, I'm a freshman journalism major. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah.
Awesome, great. So we'll kind of be leading you the way here. But Jade, if you want to get things started off with 7th-ranked BYU team, 8-0, that's crazy to me, are going to take on Texas Tech. College football game day will be in there. It's 11 a.m. kickoff here. R.I.P. Kirk Herbstreit because he's just going around the clock here. But Jaden, please take it away.
I mean, honestly, I'm going to go with Tech here. The home crowd gives them the edge, and the defense is honestly, for BYU, is just going to step up really late. Texas Tech has been one of the most balanced teams in the Big 12, and like we mentioned earlier, the offense is electric with Baron Morton as their just amazing quarterback, and their defense has been surprisingly strong within the second halves. And BYU's been great, but they've had some close calls, and like you said, going OT with just that's just not a great look for them. So in Lubbock, with that crowd behind them, I think Tech hands BYU their first loss of the season and goes up in rankings in the college football players. You see what I'm doing?
I like that. Yeah. I'm huge with the metaphors and stuff. Yeah. But we're gonna go on Texas Tech. I'm just gonna say it with stats here. They're top 10 in total defense. They're top 10 in total offense. I mean, they have one of the best run games with Cameron Dickey and the other guy. I forget his name. Just the other guy. But yeah, no, Texas Tech. David Bailey, 11.5 sacks. I mean, they're really gonna give Bo Brockmeyer, whatever his name is, Bear Brockmeyer, a run for his money. Texas Tech looks really good. Arati, what do you have to say?
Well, I think Texas Tech has the home advantage here, and they have invested heavily into their defense. They've been looking really strong so far into the season, and the Cougars should be consistent in passing, but I do think the Raiders can still capitalize on that and hand them a loss. Yeah. So I do think Texas Tech is going to be strong with their defense, but it's going to be a close game. Right. Texas Tech is the favorite.
Absolutely. So we're going to go into the next game, which is honestly a pretty mid game, I think, in my opinion. Number 3, Texas A&M versus number 22, Mizzou at 2:30 p.m. Aiden, you want to begin us?
Yeah. Texas A&M, I mean, they look really stellar. They showed it against LSU in a really formidable environment in Death Valley. I can't believe I said LSU. I don't know why. When we were doing that segment, LSU, I thought they were going to be A&M. I had no merit for that. You know, the LSU looks terrible. But Texas A&M under Marcel Reed and the head coach Mike Elko, they look really good. They look really sharp here. The only way I see Missouri to really win this game at home in Columbia is, really taking advantage of the run game. Texas A&M does not have a really good defensive line unit, but they do have a really good run game and receiving game led by Concepcion, that wide receiver, KK Concepcion, and Marcel Reed. Yeah. So it should be a fun game, but give me A&M.
I honestly want to go with a valid point. I think that LSU was a pretty mid game. I did not have any hope from Brian Kelly before that. No. I just didn't think he was gonna ever pull up a win with, especially in Death Valley, and LSU just looked mid. But yeah, A&M just looks different this season. I have to go with them for this game. Like you said, Marcel Reed is just. And the only way they will is through their run game, because I want to say one of their defensive ends or somebody is out for the game. Okay. So that's something that they could really kind of leech off of, is that bad point because I think he's a really strong defensive end. But other than that, I don't know. I think the Aggies are going to win this one, and yeah, I have a lot to say about the Aggies.
I love how you mentioned Brian Kelly. I don't know if you saw that clip where he walked into the AD's office with his head down. He had a sack lunch. It was so funny here. Yeah. But then, I mean, he's living the dream right now with that $50 million buyout that LSU's giving him. Arati, what do you think on this game?
Well, as much I really hope A&M loses. They are really looking strong this season. They've gone undefeated so far. Mm-hmm. And Missouri is going to play their first full game without their starting quarterback as well. Absolutely. So that's a lose end for them. Yeah. And Aggies are really easily in a place to set a score Missouri can't reach given their quarterback situation as well. And they're heavy on the offense. So, hate to say it. They're going to win, but I really hope they do.
I love how you mentioned Bo Perbula here. I mean, he looked really good coming into the season. That was the reason why Missouri was, really climbing high here. Then they lost against Vanderbilt, and things just shattered glass, but Aradia, thank you so much for that. Well, now we're going to go on Oregon, number 9 ranked Oregon. They're going to go into West Des Moines here, or I forget what city they're in. It doesn't matter. It's Iowa. It's ranked 20 Iowa. They're going to take on 2:30 afternoon kickoff here. We're going to start with you, Jaden. What do you have?
Yeah, I mean, I got Oregon for this game. Oregon's speed on offense is just going to be a nightmare for Iowa. I think that the Hawkeyes are physical and disciplined, but the Ducks just have too many playmakers, especially at wide receivers. If Oregon's defense holds up against the run, they should be able to control this one and strengthen their playoff resume, and I think they could definitely move up a couple of spots. Just maybe one.
Yeah, I mean, and Iowa looks really good. I mean, this is finally they have an offense here, which is, I was kind of trolling. I don't know if you saw on Instagram when UT was playing terrible. I was comparing them to Iowa. I was really trolling. Thank God Sark did not see that, or my big ticket would have gone shattered like broken glass. But Iowa looks really good. I think if Oregon gets that win, I think it'll be a really testament. And again, it shows how well they'll be able to do. I think they're college football playoff bound, as we've seen. I mean, this is like their only top 25 ranked matchup within the next 3 games. So Oregon takes the win here against Iowa. Arati, what do you think?
Well, I definitely agree with both of y'all. Oregon is definitely the pick for the win here. And Iowa's style of play can actually play into Oregon's favor, based on what I think. And even though Iowa is hosting Oregon, they're at home field, they have the advantage. But I really think Oregon can still capitalize, and I don't think Iowa's going to be able to make a comeback.
Awesome here. And Kansas is going to take on North Carolina men's basketball. I thought it was football for some reason. I read it wrong. I'm like, how is North Carolina top 25?
I was confused about too, yeah.
Kansas, I mean, they look really good with that freshman here. I think this is another year where, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. Bill Self has another great year with Kansas. I mean, they look really high preseason rankings. They look really good. Give me Kansas to beat North Carolina in Chapel Hill. Jaden, what do you have?
Yeah, I mean, there's always this one's always a blue blood battle. I'll take Kansas here as well. They're deeper and more polished earlier in the season. Hunter Dickinson and Kevin McCullough? Something like that. I can't pronounce McCullough. Give them a major edge inside and out, and their defense should frustrate North Carolina's guards just enough to make a statement win on the road. Do I think it's going to be an intense game? Absolutely, but I think they could pull it off. Kansas winning this one.
Awesome. Arati, what about you?
Well, I think it's going to be a close game, but Kansas is going to win because even though the Jayhawks opened their season to a pretty similar score to UNC. I do think they had a great last season. They were 6th in the Big 12 last year, and they do lead the all-time Kansas-North Carolina series by 7-6. So I do think Kansas is going to win. UNC is going to try very hard. They're going to be desperate for the win, but Kansas, I think, is going to take this.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Kansas plays throughout the year, given that, Jaden, you mentioned Hunter Dickinson's gone, Kevin McCullough's gone, and as well as DeJuan Harris, who was their 5th-year player. He was a 5th-year freshman. He played all 5 years, and in Kansas Jayhawk uniform. It's going to be interesting. Now we're going to go on to Alabama and St. John's, a little matchup here. Rick Pitino is going to take on Eric Musselman in Alabama. Who do you guys have? We're going to start with you, Jaden.
Well, I got St. John's, honestly. Their home court advantage and better shooting just stretched the tide. I think I was watching some of their highlights yesterday, and I was like, wow, their offense is pretty solid. And like you mentioned, Rick Pitino is just, they have them playing the edge. He has them playing the edge and the pace. Like, Alabama's still dangerous offensively. Let's put that out there, but their defense hasn't quite settled in just yet, I think, from what I've seen. And I just think St. John wins this one behind a big night from their guards and just too much pressure, and also it's at home, and I think that's pretty big for basketball. That gives them a pretty big edge. It's an enclosed space, so
yeah. And I mean, they definitely dominated the transfer portal again. I mean, they lost R.J. Lewis, who was their star man. Unfortunately, he just fell apart, just like the Houston Rockets after the James Harden trade in the March Madness here. But they really did well. I mean, getting Ian Jackson, a couple other guys from Cincinnati and from Texas. This team looks really good. And Rick Pitino, it's crazy how he's not in the College Basketball Hall of Fame. But that's light years beyond me. Arati, what do you think?
Well, I do think St. John is going to win, even like based on last year's performance and given how they've started this season off. And their offense is really strong, and as Jaden mentioned, Alabama still needs work on their defense a little bit. So I do think St. John is going to take this.
Awesome. Okay, now we're going to go on. This is a kind of a weird transition, but I'm just going to go straight into it. The Steelers take on the Chargers away here. Steelers are sitting right now at 5-3, as you mentioned, Jaden. They're right now number 1 in the NFC North. The Chargers, they're looking really good under second year Jim Harbaugh. Jaden, what do you have to say?
Well, obviously, I'm gonna pick the Chargers for this one. Herbert outduels Pickett in a close one. I think that's how the game is gonna be. The Chargers have been finding a rhythm on offense, and Justin Herbert is starting to look confident again, which is very valid for
absolutely.
their offense. The Steelers defense can keep them in the game, but without a consistent offense on their side, I just don't see them. I don't see them winning this in a shootout at all. I don't know. That's just my opinion, though. But Chargers can win a tight one at home, and I think that it's definitely going to be a very good game, and it's going to be an intense match.
It's definitely going to be a tight one, given how the Chargers, they just lost Joe Alt, he's to a torn Achilles, a ruptured Achilles, just over the trade deadline. I love how that got, overshadowed by the multitude of trades going on in the Jerry Jones office and the family. But the Chargers, I think this is going to be a very close match. I'm going to lean towards the Steelers. I think with Alex Highsmith, this kind of caters towards their defense. Similar to last year, the reason why they made the playoffs was because of their defense. Yeah. Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt, Joey Porter Jr., they all look good. I think, they're going to give really a run for their money. And I'm going to take the Steelers here. Radia, what about you?
Well, I'm here with you, Aiden, because I do think Steelers is going to take the win. It's going to be a close one, but I feel like their pass defense has been really strong, which matches up with the other team's weaknesses, and they do perform well as the underdog sometimes, so I am hoping the Steelers win.
And I'd agree. I think that even though I chose the Chargers, I think that the Steelers do look good this season.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely very tight matchup. I love how the NFL gave some respect. The Steelers really have not gotten a Sunday night game in a long time, so this is going to be very interesting to see. Now we're going to go on to the NFC portion. The Eagles, the 6-2 Eagles, in my opinion, they're out of the gates. I think the rest of the 31 teams should forfeit the year because the Eagles look so dynamic now with the addition to Jalen Phillips and Jair Alexander. They're going to take on Green Bay in Lambeau. I'm going to start with here. I'm just going to kick away. I think the Packers look really good. Micah Parsons, even though he's not getting the sacks in these A numbers, he is leading the league in QBR pressure rates. So give me the Packers to take it here against the Eagles. I don't think Jalen Hurts. He looks. If they don't have the run game, I think that's really going to leverage out the Packers for that win. Jaden, what do you have to say?
So I'm gonna go opposite. I actually want to pick the Eagles for this one, even though I don't like the Eagles. But yeah, I just think this is a statement game for Philadelphia. I think they had a really rough start to their season, and I think that everybody was noticing that, and this is definitely just a momentum pickup for them. They're just trying to make their name back to the charts. Their defense hasn't been perfect, like you mentioned, and Jalen Hurts has been on point for me, and I think that AJ Brown is just practically uncoverable right now. Like the Packers will keep it close, but I think the Eagles' physicality on both lines will just make the difference in this game, and I think it will be evident towards probably the third quarter.
And you're right with AJ Brown. There was questions whether he'll miss another week, with a hamstring injury, but he is slated to go. Radia, does this kind of impact the Eagles with their system? How does Nick Sirianni go about it? What do you have, Eagles and Packers?
Well, I definitely think Philadelphia is looking strong for the win. The Green Bay Packers could surprise us since they have the home advantage and their defense has been improving, which can force a turnover. But the Packers are still recovering from injuries, as you mentioned, and Eagles, however, are coming off a bye week with a consistent offense. So I do think they're looking strong.
Absolutely, definitely bye weeks do play a part. So again, Rockets are now going to take on the Spurs here tonight. 6 p.m. kickoff. We call this the I-10 rivalry. Roddy, are you from Texas or Kind of. Okay. So I don't know if you know. I'm sure Jaden knows this rivalry. It's the I-10 rivalry.
Down the road.
Rockets take on the Spurs here. I think the Spurs are looking phenomenal right now. Give me the Spurs to take down the Rockets in San Antonio. Jaden.
So with their records, they both have equal records right now. I believe they're 6-2 for both. I want to say, and I personally think that the Spurs are going to outplay them. Wemby just the Wemby show continues at this point, and this one's just about the rookies. Wembanyama has been versus a lot of older teams, but I think since this Rockets team is pretty young, it's a lot of rookies.
Yeah.
I think Wemby can take this one over and definitely help make the Spurs win this one. I think he's already impacting both ends, like he's a vet. Looks like he's been with the Spurs for years at this point. And yeah, I think that since it's a home advantage, I think I've been to a Spurs game and it's super loud in there, and I think it's definitely gonna get in the Houston Rockets, their mindsets are just going to be kind of messed up. But yeah, I think it's going to be a young matchup, and I'm really excited to see this game and how it's going to play out, but I got Spurs to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, even though I'm from Houston, your points of emphasis really has no correlation to me. I'm a Lakers fan, so I really don't care about the Rockets. So the Spurs take it here. Aradia, what about you?
Well, we all pretty much covered it all. So I was conflicted on this game for a very long time, but I do think it's going to be really, really close and interesting between both the teams. The Spurs, I really hope they win at home. So the Houston Rockets, unfortunately, are not really looking good based on how they've done this season.
Yeah.
Like, they've been good, but they could be better. So.
Yeah, no, and the Spurs, I mean, they're really shocking the NBA world. They're second right now in the Western Conference. So, I mean, they're sitting right now at, 5-2, I think?
Yeah, their loss to the Lakers pushed them down a little bit in their rankings.
Okay, but they're still looking
still
phenomenal right now. I mean, the Western Conference is deadlocked with so many great teams. Now we're going to keep going with the Western Conference. Warriors are taking on the Nuggets in the Mile High City. I'm going to go edge it out here with the Nuggets. I think Jokic and Jamal Murray look too good right now. Give me the Nuggets here, Jaden.
Like I mentioned in my clip, Jokic is a dog. I can't express it more. He's so amazing, and I think Allie, I love you, but girl.
He's actually a horse because he owns a lot of horses.
So yeah, whatever. I just think that they're definitely gonna take this win. Denver at home is just gonna be tough to beat. Jokic is playing at an MVP level again. Let's be so honest. That big guy has some momentum on him, and the Warriors haven't been really consistent enough on the road, I've seen from the past couple of games. But yes, I think Steph Curry will get his buckets, and I think that the Nuggets give the depth and size that they need, especially on their bench too. Yeah. And I just think that gives them the edge, and they're gonna pull off this win.
Definitely, the Warriors lack size. We might see more Jaden highlights with the Jokic thing going on here. Aradia, what do you have?
I think I pretty much agree with Jaden here, because Denver Nuggets are at home. They have the home advantage. They're looking really strong so far. And yeah, the Warriors haven't really been consistent this season. And whereas the Denver Nuggets have more variety in their team and more depth, as Jaden said. Yeah. So I think Warriors are going to keep it close in terms of score but I still think the Denver Nuggets are going to win, given that it's going to be close, given that there are injury concerns for both teams still.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see. I mean, the Nuggets again Danny, I think earlier in our shows, in our episodes, he had the Nuggets winning it against Oklahoma City. I mean, they obviously look really good here, so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays on against the Warriors tonight. That's going to be a 9 p.m. kickoff. We're going to go now into Texas. At Florida volleyball series. I really know nothing about volleyball. I'm going to go straight onto it. I know there's a lot of volleyball lovers here in our company, so I'm going to go. I don't want to get pepper sprayed or anything by Nat or Allie or anyone or Emma. I'm going to go with Texas here. I like Jared Elliott, so Texas take on Florida at the Swamp. Give me Texas. Jaden.
So I'm going to go the same thing. Texas is, like I mentioned in my previous response, I think that this weekend was a rude awakening for them. I think that when you lose intensity, you lose your momentum to win. And I think that that's what happened. I think that Texas was getting comfortable in winning. I think that this was going to be a complete just sweep of all the teams. Absolutely. And when that happens, you go against bigger teams. I don't think A&M was really as consistent as Texas, but it showed in their performance, and I definitely think that A&M outperformed Texas in so many levels, and I think that the block coverage on our side, on Texas's side, was just lacking really hard. We have some of the strongest blockers in the nation. I mean, Aiden Ames, Tori Stafford, I mean, Ella Swindle even. She's a setter and she can block. She can do a single-handed block. So in my opinion, do I think that we should have lost? No. But do I think that they need to just pick up the momentum and actually fight for this game and to not look so comfortable on the court? Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go Texas, but they need to get it together.
I'm just going to say I concur with you. I concur. Aradia, you know, Jaden's talking about how Kentucky, their loss, UT's loss against Kentucky and A&M, does that affect back-to-back weeks? What do you have?
Well, I do think I agree with Jaden here. They got comfortable with winning. They were very confident. They were on a high.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be pretty bad if they lose against Florida because...
Yeah.
It'll be a football game all over again.
Well, the volleyball team has been consistent. We have a better, stronger overall record. So we should win this game. So Texas is definitely the favorite. But yes, again, they need to be more confident. They need to be more on it at all times if they want to win this game and make a comeback.
And I want everybody to take this into consideration. We have some of the best outside and right side hitters in the country. Tori Stafford and... Wow, I'm blanking. Oh my gosh.
I can't help you.
Oh my gosh. Avery Carlson, I can't remember her other name.
There's Ellie Swindle?
No, not
Dang.
Ella Swindle. Oh my, Kari Spears.
Oh, there we go.
Kari Spears, if you ever come upon this video, I love you. Please don't ever flame me for this. But look, hear me out. They just need to pick up their defense. Defense is what really lacks, and I think that we're not giving enough block coverage to our receivers, our passers. So yeah, it's gonna be a good game, but they need to pick it up already.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that will be the storyline here. If Florida beats Texas, that will be their third straight week of just losing. That's going to be it for us. Thank you again, Aradia. You know, again, make it around of her debut. She's doing great here. That's going to do it for this week's episode of 1-0. Don't forget to join us on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. for our new episode of College Press Box. I will be doing the basketball section, so you better be there, or I'm going to scream on Instagram. Wednesdays live at 9 p.m. for a new episode of College Crossfire. Addie in the background is here. She's going to be making her debut on College Crossfire. And next Friday at 11 a.m. for another episode of 1-0. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.